That was Is This Love by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Don't forget you can get in touch with us online via Twitter and Instagram at ExposureUSW and on Facebook at Exposure Radio. We want to know what your pet peeves are. Get involved with us on this morning's show. With us now is Francesca Barbieri to talk to us about their show later on today. I never knew the US military wanted to use camels. It kind of makes sense, but is still rather ridiculous. Now, for something a lot more serious here on Exposure Radio, having a home and somewhere to live is something that most people take for granted. But homelessness is something that we all have seen and witnessed, and sadly around Cardiff, it's something you see on a daily basis. Despite this, though, it's something that never really comes up in normal conversation. Well, here at the University of South Wales, we have a student who thought that it was something we should talk about, and he made a documentary all about that, including spending a night living rough. His name is Ben Blythe, and he joins us here in the studio, now on Exposure Radio. But before we talk to him, let's hear a little bit of his powerful documentary.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice experience, but it was an important one.
Yeah. And of course, you knew you were going back home afterwards, so that was obviously a good feeling. But for those who don't have a home to go back to, I'm sure you spoke to them about it. How was that?
Yeah, so, obviously always in the back of my mind, I knew I could go home at the end of the day.
But yeah, it was an amazing thing.
Extraordinary and very inspirational story. Now, our chosen charity for today's edition of Daily Dose is Heads Above the Waves. They raise awareness and give support to people suffering from self-harm and depression. 1 in 12 young people self-harm on a daily basis, and figures show that around 80,000 children and young people suffer from severe depression. Exposure Radio's Liam Jones went out to meet people who have experienced these mental health issues.
Tell us a little bit about your gaming experience.
Well, I can't exactly say I've got much gaming experience, but when I was a child, my sister and I, we used to play on a Nintendo. Can you remind me what Nintendo it was?
It was a Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. I didn't exactly know the model, so I had to go on Google Images and find out exactly what it was. But we used to play Mario, and I have such fond memories of sitting there with these tiny, tiny, tiny remote controls. And yeah, we did just have endless amounts of fun. Very competitive, I must say, but yeah, it was really fun.
Well, you may be interested to know that coming, I think, in about June of this year to the Nintendo Switch is a brand new Super Mario game. It's looking all very exciting.
Exciting. What if cats and dogs had opposable thumbs day? So we want to know what tasks you would like your cat or dog to do if they had opposable thumbs. Let us know on Twitter at ExposureUSW and on Facebook. It's simply Exposure Radio. However, the one thing we are going to focus on is National Anthem Day, and anyone that has ever watched the rugby knows how important the National Anthem is to the players and the crowd. So we thought what we would do is play a little game throughout the show today, where Kieran and myself try to guess some national anthems from around the world. Our producer Chris has been collating some of the anthems from various countries, and he joins us now on the microphone. Chris, what have you got in store for us to start?
Yes, afternoon, Catrin. Yeah, I've got...
Chainsmokers and Coldplay with Something Just Like This on Exposure Radio. A fantastic new collaboration, a new EP for Coldplay coming out on June 2nd with 5 songs in it, that being one of them. One of their other songs, Hypnotised, also in the EP, got released on YouTube yesterday.
Just coming up to 10:30.
On the line now, we have Colin Rogers, lead for the Centre of Policing Research at the International Centre of Policing and Security. Colin is here to talk to us about Brexit and whether it has made us more racist as a nation. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning to you.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
So, Colin, we'll get straight into it. What changes have you noticed since the Brexit vote?
You are listening to Exposure Radio.
September Song there by JP Cooper. Don't forget to get in touch with us on social media at Exposure USW on Twitter, and look for us on Facebook at Exposure Radio, and tell us what empowers you as a woman.
Yes, because it's International Women's Day.
It is, and what a wonderful day it has been so far.
Yeah, it's a bit cloudy here in Cardiff though, so weather-wise it's not brilliant.
Now, you're probably aware that it is St. David's Day today. I think we might have mentioned it a couple of times, but I can't be too sure. But do we know about the ins and outs of St. David's Day and any facts about the wonderful day and why we celebrate it as a nation? Well, Exposure's radio Liam Jones chews on the facts for us and discovers other special events that happened on this day.
What kind of a monster are you?
Bone cruncher, child chewer, meat dripper, gizzard gulper, butcher boy.
Please don't eat me.
You think because I'm a giant that I'm a man gobbling cannibal?
When 10-year-old orphan child Sophie is wide awake at the witching hour, she senses an unusual change in the atmosphere. From the moment the BFG swoops Sophie from her bed, the adventure of a lifetime begins. Naturally scared at first, Sophie soon realises that the 24-foot giant is actually quite gentle and charming.
You can call me the big friendly giant.
Oh my.
A favourite of mine, and I'm sure many others, the story of the BFG by Roald Dahl is truly something extraordinary, which I suppose is why it came as no surprise that Steven Spielberg took the book under his wing and transformed Dahl's wonderful words into a marvellous motion capture performance.
Are you scared?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Mark Rylance magnificently portrays the character of the BFG. Combined with a dash of technical wizardry and motion capture, Rylance was transformed into the 24-foot giant, and it is definitely fair to say that the technical team did a stupendously good job, as Rylance absolutely makes this movie what it is.
Times will be hard, times will be soft. So hold your breaths, cross your fingers, here we go.
But of course, it goes without saying that Ruby Barnhill, who plays the role of Sophie, provides the beating heart of this extremely likeable adaptation of Roald Dahl's family favourite.
I'm going to call you BFG.